Welcome back. We continue with question 4 of the compulsory questions. So let's see. From the top of a lighthouse 100 meters high, the angles of depression of two speed boats are observed at 48 degrees and 36 degrees. The foot of the lighthouse and the sea level are on the same horizontal, and the two speedboats are on the same side of the lighthouse. A. Illustrate the information in the diagram. B. Find correct to the nearest meter the distance between the two speed boats. So now let's go. Now check something here. Let's say we have two people viewing the top of a mountain, or let's say the top of a vertical building. Two people, they are on the same side. One is in front of the other and on the same horizontal ground. Now, the one who is closer and closer to the vertical to the vertical building will raise the head higher and higher to see what the top of the vertical building. The one who is closer to the vertical building will raise the head higher and higher and higher. So which means that the one that's closer to the vertical building will have a greater angle of elevation than the one who is not closer to the vertical building. Now, the one who is not closer to the vertical building will have a lower angle of elevation, because the one who is not closer to the vertical building, when he raises his head just a small angle of elevation, he will see the top of the vertical building. But if you are closer and closer to the vertical building, you have to raise your head higher to see the vertical building. So in this case, if you are closer to the lighthouse, you have to get the greater angle of elevation, and if you are not closer, you have to get the lower angle of elevation. You can do this practical and you see that it is true. All right, so now let's go. Let's see the lighthouse. Let's see, this is the lighthouse and the sea level. They are on the same horizontal, and this is where the lighthouse is. We can get the boat here. So the first boat, let's see, the first boat is here on the sea level, and the second boat is also here. Now you see that the first boat is closer to the lighthouse. So this boat will get the greater angle of elevation. Yeah, you get the greater angle of elevation. You get the greater angle of elevation, and this one will get the lower angle of elevation. Now check something here. From the top of a vertical lighthouse, so which means from the top of this vertical lighthouse, that's the vertical lighthouse, which means it is 90 degrees to the sea level. Now from the top of this vertical lighthouse, the angles of depression, so the angles of depression of two speedboats are observed at 48 and 36. So if this guy is closer and closer to the lighthouse, the person will get the boat will get the greater angle of elevation. So we can get the angle of depression to be this, which is 48 degrees. So which alternates here, and that will be 48 degrees. Now this guy is not closer to the lighthouse, so here will be 36. That's 36 degrees, which alternates here 36 degrees. I will clear here. So this is how we do it. That's how we do it. Now the lighthouse, the height of the lighthouse is a light from the top of a lighthouse 100 meters high. So 100 meters here. Now we can see that let's here to be point A, point B, point C, then let's see point D. Alright, so this is what we have, 90 degrees, the height is 100 meters, and we have this. Okay, very simple question, very simple question. So now, the question says illustrate the information in the diagram, so that's what we've done here. Then we find correct to the nearest meter the distance between the two speed boats. So we want the distance between the two speed boats. So we can see that let the distance between the two speed boats be what? Be D. Okay, so we can see that let the distance between the two speed boats be equal to what? D. Alright, so to be equal to D. Now let's check something here. We can take in, let me divide it into two. Okay, so we can take in triangle ADC, in triangle ADC, in triangle ADC. So we have in triangle ADC, in triangle ADC, that's the bigger triangle. What do we have here? Now we can take this angle 36 is facing this side, so here will be the opposite, then we have the adjacent, and this DC will be what? The hypotenuse. Take note of that. So we use opposite adjacent, which is tan, so we get tan 36 degrees is equal to, our opposite is 100 meters over our adjacent, which is the length of AC. The length of AC. Now, this one is out of one. When we do cross product, by cross product, you see that the length of AC will multiply tan what? 36 degrees is equal to 1 times 100 is still 100. Now we want AC, so we have to divide by what? Tan 36. So we have the length of AC to be equal to 100 over tan 36 degrees. And what do we have? 100 divided by tan 36, and this is just 137.6382 meters. So that's the length of AC. That's the length of AC, which is 137.6382 meters in 4 decimal place. That's what I've left that in 4 decimal places. So now let's see the second triangle. So in triangle ADB, in triangle ADB, in triangle ADB, in triangle ADB. You see, we want to obtain the total distance. Now we've obtained the total distance to be 137.6382. That's 137.6382. Now, when we get the distance of AB, then we deduct the distance of AB from the distance of what? AC, so that we can obtain the distance of BC. That serves as what? The distance between the two speed boats, which is D. So now in triangle ADB, we can have opposite adjacent, so which will be tan 48 degrees is equal to opposite, which is 100 over adjacent, which is the length of AB. So this one is out of one. By cross product, we get the length of AB times tan 48 degrees is equal to 1 times 100 is 100. So the length of AB is equal to 100 over tan 48 degrees. So the length of AB is equal to 100 divided by tan 48, and this will be 90.0404 meters. That's the length of AB. That's 90.0404 meters. That's 90.0404 meters. Now we know the distance of AB and we know the distance of AC. So now if you want the distance, D between the two speedboats, we have to subtract AB from what? AC. So we have 137.6382 minus 90.0404, and this, they are all in meters. So our distance D is equal to 137.6382 minus that, which we will obtain 147.5978 meters. That's the distance. But the question says we should correct it to the nearest meter, which means the nearest whole number. So the nearest whole number is just 48 meters. The nearest whole number is just 48. It's just 48 meters. So that's the nearest whole number. So this is what we have. So therefore we can say that the distance between the two speedboats D is 48 meters. That's to the nearest meter. The nearest meter. So if you don't understand, please play back the video for better understanding. Trigonometry is very, very simple. Kindly please play back the video, sit down very well and get the understanding. We move to our next question 5. All right, see you in our next video. Bye bye.